Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Signed, Sealed, and Verified Webcast. My name is Raul, account manager here in New Zealand, and together with me is Peter, my colleague based in Australia. Peter, please say hi to our audience.
Hi guys. Hi guys. Yeah, my name's Peter. I'm based here in Sydney, Australia. And I'm actually quite excited about this podcast, this particular one, because these are typical questions we get from people when we're going through and talking to them about what they're trying to achieve. So I'm actually quite pumped about this.
Oh, thanks, Peter. Yeah, and going back to what Peter said, the topic for today's webcast is what to look for in a digital signature platform. And instead of showing slides, Peter and I have decided we're going to mix it up and we are actually going to use a mind map. So we're going to think about what are the different things that you should consider when you're looking at a digital signature platform. So that's my first question, Peter. What should we consider? What should our customers consider when they're looking for a digital signature platform?
This is where it gets interesting. It's like, if you talk to the techos in the organization, they're going to look at the technology side of things. If you talk to the, but I think one of the key things is the whole aspect of usability and change management is one of the key things that always comes out of it.
Hang on.
Okay.
Usability. Let me type it here. And I like that other thing you mentioned, change management, because I hear this a lot from our customers. There you go.
Exactly.
The tech side of things, usability, change management.
Yep. And so you got change management, usability, and you also got, the security side of things as well. Okay. So, because in the day and age we're currently living in, it's like, what level of security, have you got across the solution? Where's the solution being hosted? All that kind of stuff that sits in that whole security space. So that's another question that gets thrown around a lot, and I think they all kind of intertwine with each other because of it is. But if we go back for a second, just to the change management side of things, I believe this is one of the most important ones, or it is maybe the most important in my eyes, because when you're buying a solution, it's not about just about what the solution is going to do for the organization. It's about your users. You need to consider your users. Who's going to be using the solution? Okay. So one of the key things I always say to my customers is consult your users. Talk to the people that are actually going to be using the solution to do their job. So get them involved in the part of the buying process, I suppose.
All right, okay, let's put this over here, because if you think about it, if it's usability, you need to make sure you know the purpose, all right, and that they can use it. What's a better word?
Usability, change management, ease of use.
Ease of use. In fact, you know what? Let's link this together. If you think about it, because it is connected to change management. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, because the one thing, sorry, Raul, because I get really excited about this stuff, and the one thing you got to keep in mind when you're doing this stuff is that there's going to be different types of people in your organization. Ones that have been there for many, many years, others that have just started there. Okay, you need to cater for both these kind of people. Now, if they're used to doing something in a particular way, and you've thrown a curveball in front of them saying they've got to change everything they do, guess what? You're going to get friction. Okay, so that's where change management, I believe, is important. So I suppose you could put in their role, reduce friction in the organization.
Friction from users. Let me put that here. Friction from the org. And if you think about it, why should there be friction in an organization? Is if you're adding something new to their workflow, if it doesn't integrate, you'll get a lot of friction.
Yeah, so it needs to be integrated to their current way of doing things, okay, to a certain degree. So, I mean, for example, in our solution, we integrate with things like Magic Queue,
Mm-hmm.
SharePoint, the whole Office suite, Content Manager. Why? Because people are familiar with these environments. They use these environments. If they can just click on a button and bam, things happen, guess what? They're going to be a lot happier because all of a sudden it's a lot easier to use. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Productivity is going to go up as well
Mm-hmm.
because all of a sudden you're making their lives easier. They can get on with their job and they're not, having to think about what they're going to do or how they're going to do to send a document out to get signed.
So improving productivity, if you think about this, we could link this with uh, change management. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
here.
because absolutely.
Yeah, but if you think about it, one thing that we forgot to mention, like when you ask this question, what do you look for in a digital signature platform? What's the first thing that we should know from our customers? And in other words, what's their objective?
Exactly. And that's the thing, and that's one. Thank you for pulling me up on that role because
Or what's the
you know me,
goal? Yeah.
I get very excited when I'm doing this stuff. But yeah, what are you trying to
Mhm.
achieve? This is one question I always ask customers is,
Mhm.
yeah, there's solutions out there to do a lot of things, and it's like, but what is your key goal? What are you trying to achieve? What department are you trying to satisfy? Is it legal? Is it procurement? Is it HR? Is it, recruitment? What is the job you're trying to achieve? Because at the end of the day, that's actually going to dictate some of the stuff that you're going to be looking for when you're going out there looking for a solution.
So
Okay.
in other words, what's the use case?
What's the use case? Exactly.
There you go. I agree.
Because then that,
Anything
because
else?
then that, because that leads into change management as well, in a way, because the use case is all dependent on also, what solutions you could potentially integrate to things like SharePoint, things like content managers, things like, is it a records keeping thing you're trying to solve? Is it
Hmm.
is it a HR solution you're trying to solve? Is it a legal thing you're trying to solve? All that kind of stuff leads in.
Hmm. All right. Yeah, I like that it is connected to these things. Let's focus on security now. You know, when signing things online, security is important. As you mentioned in our previous podcasts, there's a lot of scams online, fraud. What are the considerations when it comes to security?
This is one of my little bugbears in terms of security, in terms of
Hmm.
because there is a lot of fraud going on at the moment.
Hmm.
Around the place, there's a lot of hackers, a lot of scammers. So you need to make sure that you've got the right level of security in there when you're dealing with
Hmm.
certain types of documents. Now,
Hmm.
you know, if, for example, in our solution, we've got different levels of security, and these are things you need to
Hmm.
look out for in terms of, if it's just a plain HR document that needs to be signed by an employee to say they acknowledge certain things, you can keep it
Hmm.
to the password security. But if it's a
Hmm.
multi-million dollar project, you need somebody to actually be identified as the person signing for it. So, as a law firm said to me, you
Hmm.
need to have the evidence, enforceable evidence, so that if, heaven forbid, the shit hits the fan, you've got the information you need to deal with it. Okay. But that also works on the other side of the coin, roll. And our role, you need to
Hmm.
shut me up because I can talk
No.
until the cows come home.
Hmm.
But that works
Hmm.
on the other side of the coin as well, from an organizational perspective. So from your organization,
Hmm.
you're dealing with people on a daily basis. They need to know that the emails that come from your organization are secure and they can sign anything coming from your organization, um, and feel safe that you're actually protecting them. Okay.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I've seen in the past is that and I think we've all seen, is that if you get hacked or if there's a scam that happens, guess what? Your brand goes down the gurgler very quickly, okay? Because news spreads really fast. You know,
All right.
don't
So
trust
in other
anything that
words,
comes from this organization.
um, uh, you know what? Let me put this over here. Yeah, because it makes sense. You should be able to trust
Trust
the provider.
trust the provider, absolutely. Trust the organization that's sending you the information to sign. So it's a um
There you go. Yeah, there you go. You're right. That's
yeah.
something that should be considered. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Anything else? Um, Talked about change management, usability, security, integrations. Um, yeah,
Part of
enforceable
security
evidence. Okay,
part of security is also compliance as well.
you're right. Uh,
Because the reality is, depending on medical records, whether it's if you're a government department, you need to make sure that you're following the compliance standards, so that when you do get audited by anybody, that
mhm,
you're sitting compliant. So
mhm,
you need to make sure that the information is captured and stored or managed in a compliant way.
mhm. Agree. Agree. Yeah.
To
Looks like we have most of the
So, I
considerations.
mean, there's a lot to
Okay.
consider here, and it looks. And look,
Yeah, you know,
there's always going to be something specific. Yep, there's going to be something
something that.
specific to the organisation as well.
All right. So this is with the goal or the objective.
Yep. So it all comes back to, and a lot of people say, software these days is not. A lot of people say, you buy software, you try to fit into the organisation, but it's not the case.
Mhm,
It's the reality is, you know, you need to be able to um, the software needs to fit the organization in a way that it's going to make it more productive. And I think that's where we're getting to in this whole mind map
mhm,
that we've done here, is that
mhm.
a lot of the considerations we need to consider is buying a piece of software that's going to make the organization more productive at the end of the day.
Okay, agree. And of course, all these considerations have equivalents when it comes to different providers. And yeah, let's break it down. Let's focus on security, Peter. When we say security, what features should, you know, people look out for when it comes
So,
to signing, digital signing?
well, you've got your standard level, and look,
Hmm. Hmm.
from a secure signing perspective, you've got your password, you've got your
Hmm.
passcode.
Yeah.
So in
And
our
you've seen on
platform, we've
screen.
also,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, you've got your SMS, which is a neat way of, so, send the email out for a document to be signed. You get an SMS code, which is something which is pretty common out there these days in terms of when you're dealing with banks and things like that. Okay.
Hmm. We
And then
can
you
do
can
that.
do
Yeah.
SMS and password. The one I love, which kind of where we go to the next level, is, the IDV. Okay.
Hmm.
And that you need to have some sort of government issued document, passport, license,
Hmm.
that you can actually take a photo of and then take a selfie. We look for specific things on that document that identify it as being a government issued document. Okay. But also we do the biometric, you know, of it as well, so that we verify you're the individual, and then that information gets stored with the document. Going back to, on our mind map, you have the defensible, the whole defensible solution there where, if it needs to go to the courts, you've got the evidence there you need to prove that, yeah, hey, it was Raul that signed it. Okay.
No, and if you think about it, it's aside from that, there's another way that we can show to the court that, hey, this person signed it, and it's this one, right, Peter?
Video,
Video confirmation.
video confirmation. Exactly, mate. It's like, I always liken this, and this is, I think I
Hmm.
mentioned it in one of our other podcasts as well. I always liken this to the CCTV and signature world. Okay.
Mhm.
Because I mean, these days you can't leave the house without being, put on camera somewhere, either in a convenience store or something like that. What we do is a similar thing. We put the camera on and watch you sign the document. We ask you to do gestures. It's not just a video. It's like, Pete, smile, or move your head from side to side or up and down so that we can recognize that it is a human and they haven't got some sort of photo up to recognize, anything like that. So it is the CCTV for signatures so that you can actually have that evidence there. And we've got a finance company out of Melbourne that actually does exactly that when they're doing million plus contracts because of that exact reason. It's like if someone's, and this is, but you've got to think about it. It's like, and this is the way I always think about it. If someone switches a camera on you, you're going to be a
Mhm.
lot more weary about signing something that is legal, aren't you? You're going to think about
Yes.
it. Okay.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree. Mhm. So that is on the signing aspect. But what about, showing that our platform is indeed secure? What proof do we have that secured signing um, is secure? Is our following certifications?
We use, yeah, these are our certifications. So we're certified by all these guys. And you know what? Getting these certifications isn't a matter of, just ringing these guys up and going, can you send me a certificate? It doesn't work that way. You know, we go through rigorous, you know, auditing from these guys to show that we have actually passed all the considerations from a compliance to achieve these certificates. And trust me, they're not easy to get. Okay. They're not easy. It takes, I know last time
Mhm.
we did the ISO one, that took about a week to get done or so, maybe even longer,
Mhm.
you know.
Yes.
So it's not easy to get, but also, which means that, in our documents, when a document's signed, sealed, and delivered, okay,
Verified.
you
Yes.
get it verified, okay, you get a green tick on the actual document. Now,
Oh, yes.
if
Yeah, let me
someone
let me show
goes,
that to you. Yeah, go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
if someone goes and edits that document or tampers with that document, okay, it breaks that and it will come up with a red cross and it says that it's been tampered with, okay,
Yeah, so yeah,
which
so
means
here's a document that I signed using secured signing, and if I click on the signature, yeah, there you go. It shows that it is valid, and there you go. That's the green tick that Peter mentioned. And if it's
yep,
tampered, what should happen, Peter?
yeah, that'll turn red and you'll have alarm bells going off saying someone's messed with this. And this actually happened to one of our colleagues who went to the bank. He was signing some documents at the bank, filled it in, signed it, and then when he got the document back, all of a sudden, bingo, someone had tampered with the document. Now, in his case, it wasn't damaging stuff they changed,
It
but
wasn't malicious. Mhm.
it wasn't malicious, but the document had been changed after he signed it. You can't do that. It's the final document that you're looking for. So, and these are the kind of ways we protect our clients, okay?
Mhm.
But not only do we protect our clients, we protect our clients' clients. So we can protect the community in terms of what
Mhm.
they're signing and we protect your brand. So and these are things that you need to look out for because at the end of the day, if your brand is ruined, your business is going to
Mhm.
be, in hot water for that. And you're going to have to go do the please explain kind of conversation. What happened?
And speaking of security, another thing that some of our customers have asked is like, where is the data hosted? Now, is it hosted in New Zealand,
I
where I'm
love that
based,
you,
in Australia?
I, I
Where
love, I
where is it
love it.
hosted now?
I love that you brought that up because secured signing, um, as of last weekend, have moved to Azure. So we are multi-regional. So if you're a New Zealand company, your data is hosted in a New Zealand Microsoft Azure data center. If you're an
Mhm.
Australian customer, it's hosted in Australia. If you're European, it's hosted in Europe. If you're in America, it's hosted in America, which covers the compliance standards for those different regions around the world. Okay. So one of the things we do to do that is when you sign up to secure signing, it asks you, where are you from? What country are you from? So that we know where we need. Okay. So it covers your compliance for your organization as well.
All right, Peter. So yeah, so I think we've covered security. I think these two are related. The next, change management. And if you think about it, the integration possibility, because it might be harder for people to use a platform if they're not familiar with it. So integrations, one of the key things that you should look out for.
Absolutely, totally. Change management's huge. I always think of a story where I was dealing with an organization many, many years ago. They bought a solution with good intent. They wanted to change the organization. They wanted to get some good stuff happening. But guess what? They never used the solution. Why? Because the users thought it was, it didn't work. It did work. Problem was, there was a learning process that had to happen around the solution. So when you talk change management, and this is where I think we try to get rid of that whole grind, is we build the integrations. One, our solution, I believe, is one of the easiest solutions to use on the planet. Okay. Two, if you integrate to all these different platforms that they're currently using, okay, if your users are storing documents in SharePoint, okay, they're familiar with that environment. If you put a little button at the top of that page in the menu and say, click on that button to send a document out to sign, guess what? They're going to use it. They're going to makes the organization more compliant and it's going to be more productive. Okay. There's a whole bunch of win-wins in that scenario. So always consult you. And that also leads into talk to the users about what they're going to use it for, because we have a bunch of integrations where we integrate with, the likes of Bullhorn, Job Adder, Tracker.
Job Adder, Tracker. Yeah, I mean, these are the ones that we use if you're in the recruitment industry. But we have others. If you're in finance, we have FinPower, Access RDBs for recruitment, local councils, Peter, OpenText, Salesforce.
OpenText, Content Manager. Magic.
Organization.
These
are the more common ones, right? SharePoint.
Yeah. One of the ones I always like to point out is the Office suite of products. Because guess what? Everybody uses Office. Well, most people anyway. So, if you're in Microsoft Word and you want to send a document out, guess what? It's a secure signing button at the top.
There
you don't have to leave the application to actually go and send the document out. How easy is that?
Yeah, in fact, one of my customers, they were hesitant at first to use this because they thought, oh, you're gonna be sending out a Word document, which of course can easily be edited. So what happens when we send it out through this integration?
We convert it to PDF because all documents should be sent out as PDF. And then we send the document out as a PDF version of the document. We don't send things out as Word because that could be dangerous. There could be changes made, even though you can track changes in Word, but no, it's PDF, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so there you go. So that is our link to, let me just zoom out. Yeah, the integration possibility, which again, if you use the integration, should make the change more manageable for the organization.
Absolutely. And if you make it more manageable, people are going to use it. If they use it, there's productivity gains out of it. And this is where it all flows into. This is why I love this mind map, because if you start at what are you going to use it for, and then move into change management. If you get the change management right, guess what? It automatically then flows into compliance and security, because then your organization is going to be more compliant, more secure, and then you've got the gains in productivity because the documents are being captured and managed in the right way. So it all kind of flows into thing. But the key is always engage the user at the beginning to find out what you're going to use it for, rather than trying to jam something down their throats to say this is how you need to do things. Because there's
Yeah,
always, yep.
yeah, go ahead, Peter. Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said, aside from the users, one major consideration, of course, is from the organizational point of view is what's the goal of the organization? What are they trying to do, right? Because there are pain points that the solution should solve. And if, let me bring it to our list of customers from the website. Um, where is that?
And that's exactly, and you're right, Raul, 100% right. It's like there is something would have triggered it potentially in the organization to want to do this.
Mhm.
Okay. Now that trigger is the one where you got to actually look at and go, okay, so
Yeah, there you
it
go.
could be a security concern.
Mhm.
It could be a legal concern. Okay. It could be a compliance concern. I've spoken to government departments, they have a compliance issue. Why? Because, dare I say it, people are copy and pasting signatures on documents.
I've heard that from some of our local council customers. And yeah, it is a big compliance headache for them.
But you know what? And this leads back to to the whole usability and the users. Why are they doing that role? Because they just want to get on with their jobs. Okay. They're
Definitely.
trying to find the easiest path to get a job, a particular job done. And the easiest way to do that is to do a copy and paste. Okay. And that leads us back to our mind map where it's like, if you make it easy for them to use, guess what? They're going to use it.
Definitely. So to consider everything, know your goal, and that's why I'm showing on the screen are different customers from different industries, and you need to make it easy to use. And how do you do that? It would be good if you use an integration. What else, Peter, should we
Correct.
consider?
The security, like
Yeah.
we talked about, yeah, there are other solutions. There are solutions out there that are really easy to use and potentially might work for you.
Mhm.
But what's the security behind it? Can it be tampered? Can it be, how are you capturing the evidence that you need if everything does, if the shit hits the fan, you know,
Yeah.
you know?
All right. I think that's everything that our mind map should cover when it comes to looking for a digital signature platform. So one parting message that Peter and I have is when it comes to provider, you need to choose a partner that you can trust. And when I say trust, it simply means what, Peter?
ISO certification. Have they been certified? What certifications do they have? Okay. And also maybe even talk to other customers they have already and find out,
Mhm.
what level of trust they have with them.
Agree.
You know,
And make sure that whatever you're using is legally binding and that it meets global signature laws. And finally, last one,
absolutely.
Peter, is
Audit, it's auditable and compliant because at the end of the day, if you haven't got that compliance in the world we currently live in, you could be in a world of pain at some point in time. And this is what I always
it just
say to
takes one.
people is,
You mentioned that, right? It just takes
yeah,
one.
that's what I was about to say. It's like the scenario of the copy and paste. Yeah, it works, it does, but it's just only going to take one incident and all hell will break loose. Okay, so keep that in mind.
All right, folks, that is our webinar for today. I hope our mind map helped you consider the different things to look at when it comes to choosing a digital signature platform. And if you want to
Feel free to
see
reach out.
our platform, yeah, feel free to reach out. I am based in New Zealand. That's my email. or if you want to talk to Peter, who's in Australia, that is his email again. So
I
that's
don't
it.
think
On
anyone's
behalf
gonna.
of,
I don't think. I don't think anyone's gonna want to talk to me after this one.
I don't, they want to talk to you. All right, don't talk to me. All right, on behalf, on behalf of Secured Signing, thank you for attending our webinar or webcast, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the next one. So that's it.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Have a wonderful day. See ya.